What's going on, guys? It's Aiden with Upper James Toyota, and today I'm going to be reviewing the 2025 Tacoma Hybrid. Now, this is going to be my favorite trim level offered on this vehicle, which is going to be a TRD Off-Road Premium. We're going to take a closer peek to see what this truck has outside and in. Let's get into it and check it out. Okay, so we're gonna start up front on the Tacoma Hybrid. Now, this is gonna be powered by a 2.4 four-cylinder mixed with the hybrid motor. It's gonna be making about 326 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque, which is a 75% increase over the last gen Tacoma. Obviously, you get a lot of that power with the hybrid powertrain and as well as the turbo four-cylinder engine. I think on the new Tacomas and when the redesign happened on this vehicle, they did a very good job at styling this truck. Now, I know the old generation Tacoma having that V6, a lot of people love that engine, and that's why the vehicle was so popular. So transferring that into a four-cylinder, and then obviously with this package, getting the hybrid motor or the iForce Max system was definitely going to, spark a few different opinions on this vehicle, but I think they have done a very good job. Now, this color option on this one in front of me today is going to be one of my new favorite colors offered on a Tacoma, and this is underground. So it's kind of like a dark gray. There's no metallic flake to it like the old magnetic gray metallic. They've done a pretty cool job to add some cool colors onto the new Tacoma lineup. Now, taking a closer peek onto the side profile of the Tacoma, one thing I will be saying on this package, which is going to be one of my favorite things on this vehicle, is you're going to be getting Bilstein shocks. Now, this one's obviously made for the off-road, and some people may argue that the Trail Hunter is obviously more catered to the off-road or overlanding than this package in front of me, which yes, it is, but obviously getting your hands on a Trail Hunter is a little bit difficult, just like the TRD Pro, because those are very, very exclusive. However, looking at these TRD off-road alloy wheels, I think getting these nice 18-inch rims paired up with this color scheme makes the vehicle look pretty well rounded in my opinion. Also on this package, you will be getting directly from the factory here in Canada, these cast aluminum running boards, which do say TRD in the middle of them. Between the different running boards options that we do have here at Toyota and what you can be getting from the factory, this is actually going to be my least favorite running board that we offer. I'm a huge fan of the Predator style tube steps, which is basically one step here, one step for your rear passenger, and I think they just look a little bit better than just a straight across running board. One big thing though I will mention on this truck, say versus the old generation Tacoma, and if you've seen my previous videos, you know exactly what I'm about to say, is that you don't see a whole lot of chrome on this truck. Tacoma is blacked out. Anything on the back for the badging wise is also blacked out, minus the iForce Max badge, which to be honest is okay to me because there's no chrome around the windows, mirror caps, side skirts, nothing like that. So I think Toyota has done a pretty good job at styling this vehicle color-wise and obviously, aesthetic-wise as well. The only thing I will be saying that kind of looks a bit weird, I don't know if you guys can see on camera, it kind of looks weird having a short bed. So out of the 4 different trim levels you can be getting on the new Tacoma Hybrid, which are going to be a Limited, a TRD Off-Road Premium, TRD Pro, and a Trail Hunter, the only Tacoma Hybrid offered in the long bed version, which is 6 feet, is going to be the Trail Hunter. Everything else comes as a 5-foot bed configuration or our short box configuration, which I just find a bit odd. If you look at this vehicle, say versus one that's a regular gas model that's a 6-foot bed, it definitely makes the truck look a little bit smaller, and I really wish that Toyota offered a longer bed option because I think consumers would buy that. Even if it's a few $1,000s more, consumers I think would opt in for it. You guys let me know down below in the comments. Okay, now taking a peek onto the rear end of the Tacoma Hybrid. It's actually interesting, I've never reviewed one of these before because we just haven't gotten too many of these trucks because they are very exclusive from Toyota. And I obviously hope that into the near future, production will ramp up on these because I think a market is definitely there getting this kind of power from a smaller pickup truck like this one in front of me. Just like the Tundra, which I have reviewed a few times beforehand, and I've also mentioned that the Tundras also put in very large letters, Tundra on the back tailgate. They have done the same thing with Tacoma in this sense, which I think looks a little bit different. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of it. With this color scheme, I actually think it's a little bit difficult to actually see Tacoma written on the back tailgate of the truck. Now, from Toyota, you actually can get a genuine factory accessory, which is like a little tailgate insert here to basically either black this out or change the colors around for it. Maybe that's something I would do if I optioned one of these trucks. Obviously, that would look pretty good on, say, a color like white, a silver, Terra, which is like an off red, or even an orange. But I think that's the one thing I would change on my personal Tacoma. You guys let me know if you would actually ever change that on yours, if you do have one, or, you know, say it's a work truck, something like that. I'm always interested to see what you guys have to say. Now, talking about the bed of this vehicle, first, when you get into this is very, very light. I've said this before, it's a composite bed, which is carried over from the prior generation Tacoma. And I think what they have done and added features wise into this bed, they've done a pretty good job. So you actually do have a couple cameras situated above that little glass panel, which can slide back and forth to obviously add any air in, kind of like the Tundra, but the full glass doesn't come down. And they've also added pretty good bed lighting in this as well. I've driven one of these in the nighttime. It was a gas model, but actually having that bed lighting there, it definitely makes it a bit easier and more, you know, well-rounded for anything or any use you're actually using one of these vehicles for. So kudos to Toyota for adding that in. Whether you guys are looking for your next vehicle, servicing your current vehicle, or just an existing client of ours, don't forget to mention that you've seen our videos online for a special YouTube-only incentive. Alrighty, let's jump into the 2025 Tacoma Hybrid. Now, being on the inside of here, it really is crazy to me looking at the improvements they have made from the last generation Tacoma. Now, obviously I know that was not offered as a hybrid powertrain, but this one, having that extra power and having just that capability for one of our smaller pickup trucks is pretty cool. So I'm really happy that now we actually finally have a market for this vehicle. A couple interesting things I'm gonna start with on the inside of this vehicle. Number one, I'm really happy the way this one is spec'd out. Reason being is that all of this silver trim and this gunmetal plastic trim they offer here on the inside, you can actually get this in different color configurations. And I've actually only ever seen this one and another one, which is going to be my least favorite, which is this bright blue. It's just kind of an eyesore to me on the inside. I feel like I use that word quite a bit, but it definitely stands out and doesn't really round off the truck like this one does. This kind of all color matches each other. You know, this color kind of matches up with the seats and this interesting pattern that you get on the lumbar support of both of the front seats. So I think that this is the way I would be speccing, you know, mine out if I was ever in the market for one of these vehicles. This being kind of like a middle of the pack Tacoma Hybrid, this does come loaded with quite a lot of features. Now, standard is this 14-inch touch display, which is the same and is going to be the shared for most of our higher end vehicles, like a Sequoia or say like a Tundra. This screen is definitely our most up to date and definitely rounds off this vehicle, because I found that the prior generation Tacoma having that little screen really didn't make the vehicle look like it was in this current year that those vehicles were actually produced in. So I'm happy that Toyota has done that. A couple things that I will say I'm a huge fan of onto the inside is going to be where all of these buttons for your climate controls are actually located. You now have these pretty interesting little dials that actually have these little screws into it, which gives it kind of more of that like truck feel. It's a little bit different than any other, you know, button layout that we offer amongst our entire lineup. So I'm happy that Toyota's done something just a little bit differently. Now, you pair that with this full digital MID screen, which is going to be behind the driver's side wheel. I think having that improvement and having a full digital gauge cluster really makes this interior of the vehicle feel a little bit more premium versus, you know, other vehicles that we have in our lineup. Convenience features wise, there are quite a few onto this Tacoma. I'll mention a few. Heated steering wheel, which is an interesting button location next to my driver's side temperature. You're gonna have three-way heating and cooling on your front passenger seats. And something so small, but something that always frustrated me so much with Toyota was that typically before, they would have for a cooled seat, you would have a green light that comes up, and then for a heated seat, it would be an orange light. And I don't really know why that was, but it just made sense for me that heating would be red, cooled would be blue. And now they have that on this vehicle and a few of our other vehicles, but I'm happy they've kind of moved away from that orange and green lighting configuration, because it was just something that always bugged me for, I don't even know what reason that was, but it did. The biggest feature I love on the inside of this vehicle has to be the sound system. You're getting JBLs on this vehicle. This is going to be our best sound system that we offer in our lineup, and the Tacoma has one of the coolest features, just like the new 4Runner will also have. On here on the dash, you can push this little button in, and this little JBL portable speaker will actually pop up. Now you can connect this to obviously a laptop, a phone, whatever you'd like. And Toyota rates this, you can actually bring this in the water with you. It's waterproof up to about 3 feet. Now, if you have one and tested it, please let me know if it actually works. I don't want to do that with a brand new one just in case something goes wrong, but I still think it's a really cool thing to have on a pickup truck, and it uses a special battery so it's not going to overheat or underheat depending on obviously, where the truck is, because in Canada, yes, summer times, especially on the dash, can get very, very warm. And in the winter time, just like today, it is pretty chilly. Now, if you're done with your speaker, it's pretty simple. All you do, place it back onto the dash, and then you just push down until it clicks, and then obviously it is back in place. So I think just that little feature is just one of those little things that sets it apart from, say, competitors on the market currently. A couple things though, I will say that I think is a bit interesting with what Toyota has done. Number one, it has to be with this shift knob. Now, I do know this is obviously shared with a Tundra, but it's interesting because you actually don't have a lot of space behind the shifter to actually a couple of your climate control modes, being your AC, fan speed, and where the air is actually blowing. So if you're kind of behind it, it's a bit weird to actually flip up the switches because this is just kind of in your way. Now, if the car was actually shifted into drive, for example, yes, it makes it so much more, accessible. But in park, you kind of have to either go behind it or above it or to the side of it. And it's just a little bit interesting. Obviously, it's something that you could get accustomed to, but just an interesting thing that Toyota has done. Storage-wise on one of these versus say a Tundra, obviously it's going to have a little bit less than a Tundra. However, you still do have a decently large center console here with a nice little cutout down here with this little handle. And I know that was such a controversial topic when they redesigned the Tacomas. I actually like it though, because having this, I don't know if I've ever sat here and held onto it before, but at least it's something that if you actually are taking this TRD off-road premium to say, the trails, or you are going to off-road it, it kind of is cool to have that for either your passenger or the driver to hold on to it while you're on the off-road. All right, now jumping into the rear of the Tacoma versus a Tundra, obviously space is going to be a little bit squished versus the full-size Tundra. Yeah, I'm really not the most comfortable back here. This actually isn't the furthest the seat can go back. It can go back a little bit more, but even just side to side and looking out the window, I just feel like I'm right there. So I'm not too sure if, say, loading this up with 5 people would be the most comfortable ride. However, for a smaller family or for someone who doesn't need a full-size pickup truck, this could definitely be a pretty good fit for you. Other than say a couple USB-C ports back here and a 120 volt charging block, just in case you want to throw a computer or something like that back here up for a charge, that's kind of the only convenience features you'll be getting. I don't think that this vehicle, say, would need some of the features like the Tundra has, say on a Platinum or a 1794, getting those rear cooled and heated seats. I don't know if that's something that I'm gonna miss in this vehicle, because I'm not too sure of how many people would actually be in this vehicle at any given time, say versus our full-size pickup truck. Other than that though, it's still nice back here, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with the way this truck is laid out. There's nothing I'm gonna be complaining about. Getting into our smaller pickup truck that we do offer, that yes, space between this and a Tundra are drastically different. But if you do own a Tacoma, I'm interested to see, is that a full-size family vehicle for you? Is that something you're loading up all the seats with and your family and say the dog and going up north to the cottage? That's just always been the interesting part of having a smaller pickup truck, is that I really want to know from you guys what consumers are using this truck for, and how you like that in your everyday life. All right guys, to wrap things up on the Tacoma Hybrid. Now, these are going to be starting off in the mid 64 range and can work all the way up to the mid 84 range. So quite a big price difference between only 4 trim levels on this vehicle. This one here, though, in front of me, a Tier D Off-Road Premium, comes in at an MSRP of $66,505. Obviously, you have to add freight and PDI, dealer admin fees, licensing, and tax. But other than that, that's a pretty good bang for your buck on, what you're actually getting with a vehicle like this and all the features that it has on the inside and out. Now, fuel efficiency is going to be that huge thing on a Tacoma because obviously coming from a V6, you're still going to want some good fuel efficiency onto, say, the hybrid version and a smaller engine. So one of these combined is going to average about 10.1 liters per 100. The other 3 trim levels are going to be averaging a mere 10.3. So a little bit higher on those ones just due to bigger wheels and obviously a little bit more weight. Now, if you're in the market for a new Tacoma hybrid or you're interested in getting into one, please definitely give us a call so we can help you out on your, future Toyota purchase. My name's Aiden with Upper James Toyota. Please do not forget to hit like and subscribe so you don't miss any more of our future Toyota related content, and we'll check you guys out in the next video.